My name is Bruno. I'm a senior creative at RGA New York, and it's a pleasure to be here. It's my first time in Belgrade, in Serbia, so thank you for having me here. Thanks for Ivana for the invite and everyone that is present here. And I know it's super early, but yeah, thank you. So first of all, what I'm going to talk here today. Basically, I was thinking, I'm just a creative, so what can I bring to so many people here? I was thinking out loud at home back there, so I wasn't sure if I should talk about the creative work, should I talk about the agency, should I talk about how's life in New York? So basically what I thought is talk about who, what, why. This is a simple metric that defines if your idea is shit or if it can be good somehow. But then I started to, okay, I'm going to talk about it, and then I started doing the presentation and everything, and I got too excited and I decided to talk about something else. So I'm going to talk about happy frogs tonight, and hope you like it. And, okay, this joke didn't work, so I'm going to keep going. So after thinking about, I'm going to talk about what, who, and why, I decided that it's much more than that. It's not just simple fact of one simple metric that can make an idea go great or not. It's much more than that. It's like, what do we really need? What do agencies need to do a good idea? And most people think, okay, you need creatives, good creatives with good taste, good soccer skills, right? But no, it's not just that. Like, that's wrong. What we need is a full team of people that are willing to do a great work with you, not for you. I think this is the most important part to discuss here, that there's this legend that all creatives, they're the guys who do the work, that they think of the idea, but the creatives are nothing if they don't have a great team behind them. So I'm going to display here one case study that I've done with some great folks back in Brazil 2 years ago. And as you can see here, they're not just creatives. So we have the CEO of the agency, we have the director, we have planners, we have accounts, we have producers, even the managing director of the agency that is not involved with the creative process itself, but is super involved with the client and everything. So the thing is that at the moment that everyone wants to do a great idea, things start to get better. So I'm going to start with one video case that I'm going to explain you how this was so important to our idea to happen.
Only 4% of women believe they're beautiful. To inspire the other 96% to feel the same, we conducted a social experiment. We called in an FBI-trained sketch artist. First, he sketched portraits of the women based on their own self-descriptions.
The older I've gotten, the more freckles I've gotten.
I would say I have a pretty big forehead.
Once I get a sketch,
All right. I don't know if most of you have seen this ad, but this is one of the most beautiful and powerful pieces of modern advertising that has come out in the past 5 to 10 years. It's powerful. It has one simple message that I'm going to get to that later. But why am I showing this? Because at the agency that I used to work for, our CCO, the owner and founder of the agency, was responsible for this kind of work. And after he did that, this happened. Like, every meeting that he went, all the clients were asking, okay, where's my sketches? I want mine for my own brand. And at the same time that this happened. That this guy, this Fernando Machado, he's the client from Dove, but he was just changing to Burger King. So he was in the transitioning point of his career when he decided, okay, I've done all I could at Unilever, I'm going to go do something else. And then he came to Anselmo, that is the guy on the previous picture, and said, that he can give the global account of Burger King to David, the only thing that we had to do is to win a Grand Prix in Cannes. And then, okay, like, with this brief, all we had in hands, okay, we have to win a Grand Prix. And we said, okay, we're fucked, right? And then these two guys come in. They're the two strategic planners from David. And what they did is like, okay, first we have to open spaces to decide what we're gonna do. Like, we have a direction that from there we can give the creators like one perspective how to follow the work. And this direction that they gave us was democracy, because they believe that everyone is welcome at Burger King no matter what. So okay, from that, we started burning our heads with ideas. Like, for 2 weeks, presenting 10 to 15 ideas a day until we get the best we could. And that's where I'm going to talk about simple ideas. That's the motive of the speech here. That is who, what, and why. This is a super simple metric that we tend to use to prove that at least our idea is not shit. It cannot be good, cannot be great, but at least it has a point. It has a perspective, and it has one final goal, that is to give at least one single piece of statement to a client. I'm going to give some examples here.
Sue Coca-Cola Zero for taste infringement.
I'm an immigration lawyer.
We feel that your expertise might be able to be a way to think outside the box.
I think, personally, not that speaking outside the box, and I hate that kind of language. I deal with families and things, and I appreciate what you're trying to do. I'm
Now that I think of it, Ron, the head of the Coke Zero team's Canadian. Could we have him deported?
Da, 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 da.
So, who, what, and why. So this is how I like to explain the ideas, especially when I'm trying to present either to the client or to the CCO, VP, whatever of the agency. So Coca-Cola sues Coca-Cola Zero for taste infringement to prove that they taste the same. So it's one simple idea that it can fit into one sentence. And this is a proof point. Like, if you want to prove that your idea is good to the client or to your ECD, you have to put in one sentence. At least that's how we try to work to see if it makes sense. Because when you try to over-explain it, then you're adding layers and you're trying to force yourself to, okay, this idea is good. But when you're just trying to find excuses to show that it is good, maybe you have to rethink about it. So I'm going to give 2 more examples that it shows the same metric happening.
Jag menar inte att det här skulle hända. Det bara händer. Det är helt sjukt.
All right. So Lidl in Sweden uses the name of one consumer on its branding to prove that the milk is 100% Swedish. Again, one simple idea that fits in one sentence with who, what, and why. And now the last example might be my favorite one.
It seems almost everyone these days is wearing some sort of fitness tracker on their...
So, Joe Boxer Pajamas creates inactivity tracker to show how great it is to do nothing while wearing pajamas. I mean, this is great. I really wish I've done that, because it's great to do nothing in pajamas. So what did we do? Like, I'm talking about how this metric is important, how we try to always stick it to this kind of singular thinking to produce our ideas. Remembering the brief that the client gave us as try to win a Grand Prix in Cannes, which is, of course, the easiest job in the world, we decided to do the Gay Whopper. What is the Gay Whopper? So Burger King wraps its most famous burger in rainbow color wrapper to show that everyone is welcome inside Burger King stores. So again, we have the who, that is Burger King. What is Burger King doing? Is wrapping the Whopper, its most famous burger, in a rainbow color wrapper. And why is it doing it? To show that everyone is welcome inside their stores. So it's important to show that democracy is there. It's in the DNA of the brand. And then we showed the idea to our head of planning and our CCO, and the outcome of the meeting was great. They loved the idea, but they said that, okay, maybe we can tweak the name. So it was changed to the Proud Whopper. So again, it was important that everyone was there, because this didn't come from the CCO, it came from the head of planning. She looked at the idea and said, the idea is great, we need to change the name to reach a broader audience. So she brought the name to us. And this is the board that represented the idea. So it's not a super fleshed out layout, it's not like a big presentation, it's one slide with one small copy and 3 key images. Really badly done in 5 minutes because we didn't have any more time. And we presented to everyone, and the client loved it. And then we had the 2 accounts that were super essential to the idea, because without them, that would never have happened, because we showed the idea and that the client loved it, and then we needed someone to keep pushing it. So they embraced the idea like they had the idea. They said, okay, this is our idea. Everyone wants to make it. We need to make this happen. So they were pushing, calling the client, going there, knocking on their door, throwing eggs at their windows. Like, we need to do this idea. And then suddenly, the work is ours. It's not just mine, or it's not just from the CCO. It's everyone's. Like, everyone owns the idea. And this is the crucial point of any successful campaign, because if you don't have a team of people that are like with you the whole time, it's going to be difficult for you. No one can do anything alone. So it's super important to value and to be engaged inside the agency, your company, because it's not just the agency, it's the client. It's not just the client, it's the producer company. It's not the company, it's the PR company, it's everyone. Everyone has to be together. And then it got approved. Everyone loved it, the client was super happy with it, but I think, I don't know how many people here work at agencies, but it happened that it died. Sorry, the idea is not feasible, we're not going to do it, it's too extreme. But then we kept pushing, and it got approved again. But maybe next year. Let's see if we're going to work this out or not. And then we kept pushing, and then finally got the final approval. So then we're going to start doing the Proud Whopper. So if there are any art directors in the room here today, great, you're going to love this part. If you're not, you may go get a coffee or sleep a little bit, because this is something that we want to show. I want to show about how it's important to keep pushing, no matter if the idea is approved or not. This is Rodrigo. He was our designer back then. And together with him, we were really pushing how we want to do this in the best way. So this is, again, the first layout, just to show you guys how we were starting to study the art direction and the design process of the idea. As you can see here, it's bad, but it has some starters. So we kept pushing, we have to improve. And then we got, okay, let's check the colors. Are the colors right? Do we have all the colors we need? Do they reflect the new positioning? And this is Marcus. He's the head of marketing in Europe, and he's German, which means I think you guys are laughing because you know the Germans. They're really hardcore on design. And if it wasn't for Marcus, the idea wouldn't have happened as well, because we wanted to print a wrapper that's going to have a hamburger on it with ink on both sides. So it's really easy for the ink to leak into the hamburger, and you get like a colorful hamburger, and that's bad. People are not going to love it. And we had to find several printers to say, until one of them could say, okay, I can do it. And if Marcus wasn't searching the whole world for the best printers, we couldn't have done it. So this is the final design. So just to show a little bit how it can progress. When you think, okay, it's ready, it's approved, and you think it's done, keep pushing, because you can even improve it somehow. I think the most important part is you have to keep pushing until the account comes to you with a knife in their hands, saying, okay, we don't have any more time. You have to deliver it. So again, just a little bit more of the design, just the final, to see the improvement of the idea. And from then, we had to do a film. We have a great idea, but we don't have a film. So that's when the producers come in hand. And again, they have to be partners. They have to have a creative thinking because they are responsible to find the director and the production company that's going to do the best of the work. And if they don't do it on the same mindset as all the other people who are involved in the process of this keeping the creative essence correct, pure from the beginning, we're going to have distortions in the middle of the way. So that's why, again, it's important that everyone's always embedded on the same mindset to bring the best work. And then they found Henry Alex, this awesome guy that is a director from Smuggler in New York and LA. And he's also an Oscar nominee, so we're really lucky to work with him. And he's just one example of his work.
And now the end is near. And so I face the final curtain.
You know what?
My friend,
I'll walk from here.
I'll say it clear. I'll state my case.
What's happening, fellas?
I'm certain
Who's winning?
We are.
Hey!
I want to show this case, this film especially, because Henry, he's a kind of guy, he has done a lot of commercials, but the way that he treats commercials is, I want to capture real life. I want to capture what people are feeling for real. I don't go for scripts. That's his mindset. So this ad was completely shot for real. So they really took the guy to the streets, and people were amazed to see him there. So that's why you have all these super authentic reactions from everyone on the street, because it's real. So this is what we wanted to bring to our film, something real, something that people could relate with. So, approved, let's go. Let's go to San Francisco to shoot it. Great location, awesome, but we never met the client. How are we going to shoot something we never have met the client before? So that's when we bring the account director with, because Ricardo, he wasn't on our team at the time, but he worked on the Dove Sketches work. So he knew the client already. So we brought him to the team because he knew how to handle the anxieties and all the preoccupation of the client on set. This was most important. So that's why he was super important to the process as well. And then we started shooting, and then something great happened. These two guys happened because they were not budget. They were not involved in any matter in the project. But they loved it so much they just want to be part of it. So the girl doing the interview is called Lena, and the guy behind the camera is called Rob. And Rob is the owner of Smuggler. So he basically took his car, took his camera to San Francisco, and said, I want to shoot this. You guys have budget for just one camera, one unit, but I'm going to create the second unit because I want to be part of it. So again, some more people that helped the project to get better. And this is just because of a funny photo. I liked it. I wanted to put in here. And so we are shooting, right? And you think, okay, shooting's easy. The creatives go there and they do all the work. But actually, this on the on the left corner is Ivan, is my team partner. So he was just sitting on the back, just watching everything happen. So we had a whole team of people who were ready to do it, ready to do the best work they could. So again, more people wanting to do the best work, more people saying that this work is mine, not this work is yours and I'm doing it for you. No, the work is mine. This is the mindset that helped this work to be good, as I like to think about it. And of course, a director that was willing to embrace the game. And he was really fun about it. He was really caring, really thought that, okay, I don't want to be intrusive. It's a kind of a complicated matter, especially if you think of the United States like super progressive. If you go to the mid-America, like Iowa, or if you go to South Mississippi, or I don't know, and it gets a bit complicated, the matter. People are not tolerant. So he wanted to be lighthearted, wanted to be easygoing on the matter, not to be over-exaggerated, not to feel like we have to do this to win, to get more money for Burger King. No, he wanted to bring a true message. So we had to have someone who embraced the idea. And of course, you need the public to like it, because this is something that we were actually talking to a friend of mine that's here, Mihna, last night, that sometimes we tend to try to do work for the creative business. We try to do work that other agencies are going to like, all the awards are going to like, but what about the public? What about the consumers? Those are the ones who need to embrace it and like it. They need to feel it. So if your public don't connect to the idea, maybe you're doing something good for the creative market, but what about the real market, the people that are really going to buy your products, right? So this is just to show that it was great because people started to embrace it right away. Right on the gay parade, people already started wearing the crowns and share it on social media and everything. It was super cool. And then we started the editing process. And this guy here, Connor, he was also essential because this is the best picture we have of him, by the way. He was essential because he knew how to edit the work. He knew how to bring it the authenticity that we wanted to. So again, one more person, super essential to the job. And then I bring this girl here, the blue-haired girl with the bra. She was the most essential part of our film because she's the one who reveals the idea. She's the one who tells the message that we had to tell. But since this was all shot with real cameras, real people, there were no actors, suddenly her release that says, I allowed my image to go to the commercial is gone. It's missing. We cannot put her in the commercial. So we're screwed. We're totally screwed. So then everyone started doing their best. Veronica, there's one next to the blue-haired girl. She's our head of production. She even thought, okay, I have a friend at FBI who can get the security cameras and find her face and find her ID on Facebook, and then we can get her to sign in again. Like, everyone was crazy to trying to find the release of the girl, which happened to be on the contract of the sound engineer. So I don't know how it happened to be there, but everyone was moved to bring it. And, well, and then it was done. It was edited, it was final, it was ready, and it was beautiful. So I'm going to show the work for you guys right now. I hope you like it. And after we did the film was ready, we needed to capture all the reactions of the PR, how people are reacting to it. So again, we had 3 supporting agencies. There was the media agency, the PR agency, and the, I don't know what agency? The digital agency that was helping with the social media. So again, we were doing our job, but we needed other people to take the job and take it as their own. So these guys were really important, especially the PR agency that were responsible to feeding all the right source of content to people to react to it. And this is the final case study. I hope all you guys liked it. And after you guys see it, we're gonna, if you want to have some questions, I'll be glad to answer that.
When people sit down to eat a hamburger, the last thing they want to be thinking about is 2 guys having sex.
In 2014, we invited people to try the most controversial hamburger in history.
Trending tonight.
All right, and just to finish, I want to give here a big thank you for all the team that make this. And really, when everyone is willing to do a great work, when everyone wants to do the best work they can, things can happen. So I hope that this can inspire all of you to embrace whatever the piece of work it is. If you're involved in it, it's important to do your best, to really bring a creative mindset so everyone can do their best and everyone can see that you want to do the best work. And last but not least, keep fighting the good fight. Do it as much as it hurts, just keep on doing it. Thank you. All right, if anybody have any questions, I'm here. So.
I actually have a question. Is there a microphone? Or actually, I have a mic, yeah. My question, thank you very much. This is an amazing presentation.
Thank you.
Thanks for all the testimonial and One question I had is, the last advertisement that you've shown are real people, right? There's no actors.
No actors at all.
And what about the Dove commercial, the first one you showed? That's completely
No
fake?
actors at all.
Really?
Yes.
So
They're all real people. They were all shot. The way they shot it was, first they brought the women to talk to the camera. They didn't know there was this sketcher doing the drawings. And then after that, they put these women in a room with some other people just to talk. Like, we're here doing a casting for something, I don't know what it is. And these people knew that they have to pay attention to the people, to these women. And then afterwards, these people were brought to be interviewed, and then they also didn't know there was a sketcher.
Okay.
So all the testimonials are real. And that's the magic of it, because it's real people with real feelings and real emotions. Yeah.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Is this on?
No.
Okay, it's working now. Great. The first thing I would like to say is it's amazing the way that you know names of all people that were involved in the project, and that shows just respect that you have for your colleagues, and I think that's amazing. My question is regarding the responses of people for this campaign in particular. From what I understood, you filmed it in San Francisco as city of gay rights and stuff like that, but has there been different responses? Was it the campaign that covered the entire United States?
Yes.
For example, for some regions that are not known for their recognition of equality and stuff like that, were there people who reacted negatively? That's
Absolutely.
my question.
Yeah, this is something that happened like quite often. So we had a really good positive sentiment on the campaign, but at the same time we had haters, really, really bad. Like people organizing boycotts to Burger King. People who were posting videos saying that Burger King is doing a pact with Satan. Yeah, especially the Christian community in the United States, they're really, I'm not going to say bad things, just that the way they think is a bit still antiquated. So they're not forward-thinking as some parts of the United States is. So we had to do, even inside Burger King, because Burger King, the way it works is, it's not one head of marketing that takes care of everything. It's a franchise. So there are some people who owns a Burger King shop that doesn't agree with it, and they were complaining. So we had to deal with the whole process. Until today, Burger King has some issues with the fact that we did this campaign, because people still are outraged about that. But which is good, because it shows that we are not trying to do something for the money. We wanted to put a message out there, and we were ready to take it. We were ready to, okay, we're gonna get negative response, and we have to deal with it, and we have to embrace it, because it shows that it's about democracy. You might not like it, you might like it. You're welcome to Burger King anyway.
So the franchises that didn't agree with the policy had to sell the Pride Whopper as well, or did they have an option?
This was just one Burger King shop in San Francisco. No, sorry, 3 Burger King shops in San Francisco, some in New York, because all the rest didn't want to do it.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Anyone else?
Just a quick question. And the Grand Prix, did you win it?
No. Actually, we got close to it. We were running for the Grand Prix in 2 categories, in promo and in design, but we lost the Grand Prix for the same idea, twice. But it happened, it's okay. One more question. You guys can do it. Sorry? We know that we had an increase of 30 to 40% at the period, but we couldn't put on the study because it's private for the company. So you're not supposed to hear that, but I told already. So yeah, no one's gonna know that, right? All right, any more questions? Yes? Okay.
Hello, congratulations. Well, my two questions are, the first one is, how much time it took you from initial idea, from the briefing maybe, to the final product? And the second, do you have any information or data how this particular commercial reflected or changed the brand, how brand is perceived?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Okay, so the first question is, the brief that we got was in January. So it took us, between approval and production and everything, 6 months. Because we had all these ups and downs. It's approved, but then it died, and approved. One funny fact is that there was a time where we all gave up. We thought, okay, this is never going to happen. But then the client, Fernando Machado, he just said, guys, we're doing this idea. Even if I lose my job, we're doing this idea. So he put his job at risk to make it happen, and thankfully it did. And your second question?
Do you have any information if this particular activation changed how the brand is perceived in USA or maybe in some specific city?
Yeah, I don't have real data to tell you, but what I know is that Burger King was doing, before that, Burger King was known to do great work. So you can remember the Whopper versions or the Whopper Freakout or the self-service chicken. These are work that everyone knows and everyone loves. And suddenly, Burger King started to be concerned about sales. So they gave up on creativity. They were just doing the super selling commercials. And then when the VP of marketing changed, he wanted to bring back this spirit of Burger King as a cool brand where people can relate to. So this was the first piece of work that he done at Burger King. And this, together with other campaigns that he has been doing in the past 2 or 3 years, the brand got much more recognition. People love it more. And for the first time last year, the sales McDonald's was falling, and Burger King sales were up. So I like to think this was just one first step. Again, we are not doing anything alone. There's always some other people doing some other work with us. So now, Burger King is in a much better place than it was 2 years ago.